reach Sutter Kane.
Hello, and welcome to the Carpenter Hour, where this time we're going to be talking about 1994's In the Mouth of Madness. Big personal favorite of mine. I know it's not a lot of other people's. I think even John Carpenter had a pretty decent time, but I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Tyler, what was your first viewing like?
I fucking love this movie, man. This is one of a few that I called dibs on early on. Like I've never been like a big Carpenter guy. I'd only seen like the Thing, Halloween, and Christine going into this segment. So when I first heard that we were doing it, I kind of went and watched some trailers and kind of tried to get an idea of like which ones I might be interested in. And
Right.
this is one that really jumped out at me. I love cosmic horror stuff. I liked the plot, you know. I like Sam Neill a lot. So first viewing, fucking amazing. Watched it twice in the last 3 days.
I'm with Tyler on this one, man. This was really fucking cool, dude. This was
Nice.
my first
I'm
time
glad you
seeing it
both
as
liked
well. Derek, as long as I've known you, you've liked John Carpenter. I don't ever remember you bringing this up, and so you're kind of a dick for not turning me on
Yeah.
to this movie a lot
Well,
sooner.
yeah.
Because I don't even know that I had heard of this until you said you're gonna do the Carpenter Hour segment. We're talking
Yeah.
movies or whatever. Then I was like, what in the mouth of madness? How have I not? What? Yeah, but Sam Neill's awesome. This was super cool. The creature feature stuff is something that I'm super fond of. Yeah, man, this was a super fun ride. This is one that I watched twice because I was like, this was that awesome. Cool story, cool horror elements. Is John Carpenter at his best, and this goes to the top of my Carpenter list so far, man. Not the very top, but
Oh,
like
nice. It's high up
I
there.
think
It's
top
up
3
there.
maybe. So
That's dope, man. I'm glad to hear that from both of you, especially because I feel like this one's kind of an underrated gem. It's from the 90s, which isn't like his like most highly regarded stuff. I know it didn't do well box office. I know critics didn't really care for it, but man, it is a sleeper hit for sure. Because I remember when I first came across it, because like Tyler, I'm real into cosmic horror. Dude, I fell in love with this movie. I'm like, this movie is great. How did I not see this? But yeah, it definitely was definitely a hidden gem, dude.
I think it started to find its audience. Like poking around online a little bit, I did see a lot of love for it. So I think maybe it just took people a little while to realize how great it is.
I mean, the 90s was a weird time, especially for horror and stuff. So I can see it having its qualms.
it really pisses me off that every awesome John Carpenter movie like didn't do well at the box office, and then
Yeah.
he's got to like get that respect like many years later from everyone being like, yeah, this movie's so awesome. Why did it suck? It really fucking pisses me off, dude, because this guy deserves his full credits, man. Because this is another awesome movie, and I don't think I've seen a lot of his '90s stuff. But this to me was like prime '80s John Carpenter, man. This was great.
Yeah. Out of all of his 90s stuff, this is my favorite. Like, I love this movie.
What else did he do in the 90s?
I think he did Village of the Damned,
Okay.
and
He's got Memoirs of an Invisible Man.
Vampires is one. I think Memoirs might be in the 80s.
Was it '80s? Maybe.
I think so. That
sure.
or early 90s.
Sure.
Starman, I think, was mid to late 80s. So, yeah, I think it's Vampires, Village of the Damned, In the Mouth of Madness.
I think there's another one in
Vampires,
there.
Escape from LA was 96.
Escape from LA, yeah, that's another one.
Okay.
It's like
Body
pseudo
Bags. Oh, that was a TV movie, 93.
Right.
Memoirs of an Invisible Man was 92.
Okay.
They Live, 88. So
Okay. But yeah,
yeah.
out of all the ones you mentioned, still my top, still my favorite.
Yeah. This guy was super busy, dude. I know we talked about it on maybe The Thing and The Fog. This guy, like, literally every 2 years is pumping out a movie. And I think in the 80s, there was like a stream where there was like 2 or 3 years in a row where it was like movie. This guy was super busy. And he did the music on this one again, which is awesome because you can definitely tell with that opening like rock going on. Like I was like, this is John Carpenter. Yeah, man, this awesome pick, dude. I'm glad I watched this.
You mentioned that like opening riff. I was sold on this movie from the very start. Like that opening sequence, I was like, oh yeah, I'm ready. Everyone in my house was asleep, and I didn't want to wake up my daughters or my wife, so I like I got my headphones and hooked them to the TV. So I'm like in like my pitch black living room with the headphones on, so I got the sound right here. So awesome.
I actually listen to the theme quite often. It's in my playlist. I think it came from his anthology soundtrack, and it's pretty dope. Like it hits pretty hard. Well, if you guys like what we're doing and are enjoying us and, think we're funny because we're really cool. I don't know about that Nick guy, whatever. But I definitely feel like if you guys want to check us out, we're on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, I
Amazon
believe
Music,
Amazon Music. Yeah. So if you
TikTok.
guys want to check us out, you're liking us, send us a like, share us, subscribe, tell us how we're doing, talk to us. We want to talk to you. So, and let us know. Do you read Sutter Kane?
Right.
So
also, we're definitely going to be spoiling some plot points in this episode, audience.
yes.
So be warned.
Look out for the spoilers. I mean, it is a pretty old movie, but if you have interest in watching it, definitely watch it first.
Definitely go watch it.
Yes.
Can I start off by saying, so like Tyler, I was actually watching this on my laptop because I watched it on the Plex server. I'm in my bedroom, all the lights are off, and I didn't watch a trailer for anything, so I'm flying in blind.
There you go.
There was some moments, man, where I was like really like unsettled, and I was like, what is gonna happen here? Like, what this is pretty wild. I don't really get scared in a lot of these movies, but I was definitely unsettled and a little freaked out at some of this, man. This did its job, dude. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know how more people haven't seen this.
Definitely a creepy movie. I liked that that they used it a couple times where like they'll be on like a long stretch of road and they're driving straight and then they like somehow circle back around like with the guy on the bike, and then when
Yes.
he's trying to leave the town later on.
Yeah, when they're
Like
stuck
I
on a
always
loop.
find that kind of stuff really creepy.
The
For
guy
sure.
on the bike was really creepy. Just like the bare emptiness of like the town when they first get to it, and then just like meeting the kind of like the weird off like hotel chick, and then like the kids. There's a lot of creepiness to go around.
For sure.
Just even seeing and experiencing half the stuff those guys did just on their way to the town would have been like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah.
In this case, I'm walking home. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. But having said that, I think even for that being in the 90s, like it was awesome that it got pulled off because, like you said, there were some scary, kind of uneasy parts, man.
For sure. Audience, real quick, the basic plot of this movie is there's a horror writer named Sutter Kane, who's basically like the Stephen King of their universe. He has a new book coming out. He's gone missing. His publishing company hires Sam Neill, who is an insurance investigator that checks out like fraudulent claims and like whatnot. They've hired him to find this guy, and he ends up tracking him to like this town that's supposed to be like from his story, but like kind of not or whatever. And shit gets pretty wild from there.
I was gonna say he just falls into something much bigger than he would have realized or anybody would have realized.
For sure. It's a super cool plot, super creative. Like anything with like an author and like a horror writer and stuff, like kind of piques my interest. Sam Neill playing like an insurance investigator of all things, you know what I mean? Like he wasn't just like some Joe Blow, like his job was to, always think there's
Yeah.
a con, I think is how someone worded it in the movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, like this was just super cool and creative, and I don't know, man. I can't give it enough praise, dude. I was super blown away by this movie.
Yeah, so he's an insurance investigator. So people file claims, he goes and tries to determine the validity of the claim. At what point are you going a little bit above and beyond the Call of Duty?
Yeah, I can kind of see it, but
Like he's going
he-
on like a full-on road trip, and
yeah, which
he's reading several books and like making a map out of the covers and like doing this like hardcore, like he's basically a private detective.
I mean, well, think about it. Ed Norton was kind of like a insurance investigator in Fight Club, and he kind of traveled all over the joint.
Is that what his job was?
He was like a safety
Yeah.
consultant or inspector or whatever, but he would go to places where they would call him out, which is essentially what happened to Sam Neill. He got called out to locate. First, we open up with him like having that like if you're gonna cheat around on your wife, don't make her your partner or whatever the hell. And
Yeah.
he has that quick little scene where he like pretty much discovers that like there's a fraudulent like claim being done, and when he's talking to the guy who hired him, he's like, ah man, you're the best. And he's like it was easy. He's like there's like no pros, everybody's amateurs. And he kind of prides himself and he's kind of arrogant of like how good he is.
A
He's
little
like,
bit, yeah.
I just got to figure out what it is, and I'll fucking have it. Like he's very determined, and he's very, like, I wouldn't say prideful in his job, but
He's
he's
cocky.
definitely, yeah,
Yeah, he's got this like opinion that like everybody's trying to fool you. You just got to figure out what the angle is, and
It was cool seeing Sam Neill play that type of character. Like coming off Jurassic Park where he's like, kind of chill Dr. Grant, you know what I mean? I
yeah,
watched Event Horizon not long ago and I think from what I remember wasn't, until the end, obviously, Derek, right? You've seen it. And
yeah,
but like it was cool seeing him play this type of character and like he just does so well. His New Zealand accent or whatever is like on full display at times. Like
yeah,
some of his accent stuff, whatever, from a guy that's from New York or whatever he's supposed to be in the movie.
yeah.
I'm glad you brought up the New Zealand accent because I actually didn't know that much about Sam Neill going into this. So I think it was like 15, 20 minutes in. I was like, what is this wacky accent this guy is doing? I was like, it kind of seems like Australian mixed with British. So
Yeah,
then
yeah.
like I pause the movie and I Google it and I'm like, oh, he's from New Zealand. It's exactly Australian and British, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I guess he, like, obviously he uses it in full display, like you said, and there's a couple times where, like, how he, like, enunciate his words, like,
Yes.
when he's in the padded room and that dude's like, "You wanna hear about my them, don't you?" And he's like, "You're them?" And he's like, "Yeah, everybody's got a them." He's using
Yeah.
it with, like, a
A
I am
them.
instead of EM.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
exactly.
he's just throwing it on there the whole time. And, like, at first you don't really catch it, but there's some scenes you're kinda like, "Oh, okay. Alright, yeah, it is a little, noticeable," and then other scenes it's not. But, yeah, I thought it was cool that it kinda shined through.
Let's talk about the rest of this cast real fast here. Because obviously Sam Neill is the big draw, right?
Yeah,
I
I'm not gonna know any of these people, but go ahead.
well, there's a lot of like those guys kind of. So the main chick, I don't. She didn't look familiar to me, so I don't know if she's in something that I'd seen her in.
I don't think
Um,
I've seen her in anything else but this.
we had the classic Charlton Heston as what Jack Harglow, like the publishing
The
manager or
publishing
like
house,
Right.
I guess, boss
yeah,
or owner?
he was cool. The farmer guy that like commit suicide in that bar later on
Yeah.
Vigo!
is the ghost from Ghostbusters 2,
Yeah.
like the one that comes out of the painting or whatever. Instantly recognizable with his beautiful face.
You're scowling,
And
yeah.
and was the dude in the beginning that Sam Neill's talking to that burned down his warehouse? Was he the
Yeah.
guy in They Live?
Yes, he was
Is
the
he
one
the
that was
Yes.
supplying him with the glasses. He's,
Yes.
alum from
Okay.
all of Carpenter stuff.
That's right. The kid on the bike at the very end who Sam Neill asked where the highway is or whatever. Young Hayden Christensen, which I
Darth
believe is his
Vader.
first role.
First
Yeah, future
role,
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader, on a bike in the middle of the cross country, asking the guy why he's just standing there,
Yeah.
real quick, but I almost didn't recognize him until I started reading online that that's him, and then I had to, like, "Oh, it is him. It is little Skywalker." He's in it. There's also,
The lady that works at the hotel
hotel, yeah, I
is
can't remember. She's
Adam
in a lot
Sandler's
of things too.
grandma and Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, she is
Yeah,
super
yeah, yeah,
recognizable. I
yeah.
couldn't remember what I'd seen her in though.
Yeah, she's in that, and then, obviously, Sutter Kane himself, you know, that dude
Yes.
that dude
Beer fest.
has been a villain and a hero, and God only know he's probably one of the most prolific, like, actors out there with, like, just a laundry list of, like, stuff he's been in. I can't remember his name off the top of my freaking head, but
Yeah,
he
neither can I.
but
Is
he's
he
in,
in that
like,
movie
House of
Das
the
Boot?
Dead. Yeah, no, he's not. I don't know if he's in Das Boot. He's always playing a German. He's the asshole German in Beer Fest.
He's the
He's in
yeah,
Judge
the
Dredd.
dad or Grandpapa, whatever they say.
Jurgen Prochnow.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely
It's a
German.
weird it's a definitely foreign name.
Yeah, he's in that Primeval movie with, like, the crocodile. He's in that. Like, dude's in a gaggle of stuff. So, but he's always awesome what he does. He always brings, like, a weird thing, like a weird necessity to it. But you have all these people, all these, like, characters that are just in and out, like you said. Some of them you've seen, some you haven't seen. And then you have Sam Neill, and the way he interacts with everybody kind of, I don't know, like, so in the very beginning when he goes to the insane asylum and he gets in there, he's like, he's lashing out, he's fighting or whatever. And then we get
Yeah, David Warner, I think is
David
that guy's
Warner.
name.
Yeah, that guy. Kept getting
The
the other two mixed up.
the guy that takes him in or whatever is John Glover. I think the main that's like on
Uh-huh.
the phone and he's like, he's arrived or whatever. That
Yeah.
guy's John Glover from like Batman and Robin, Smallville.
Batman
He's like
Robin,
Lex
he's in
Luthor's dad.
Smallville, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
Also another,
Yeah,
like, cool actor,
for
cool
sure.
character actor. But yeah, he gets in there, like, first one of the first lines out of his mouth, he's like, "I'm sorry about the balls," you know? "It was like a shot, that's all," and he's kinda like you don't quite understand what's going on with him, he's just, like, in a state, you know? He's just, like, in this riled up state.
It's
And
always
then they
a
start
cool way to, like, open the movie when you
Yeah.
see what's coming, and then you get to backtrack and see how we get there.
Yeah,
You're a fan of that? You guys
it's
like
like he
that
tells
type
a
of like?
story. Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the movie, obviously, but I think it worked really well here.
Yeah, it can be hit or miss for sure.
Because
Yeah.
it's cool, you see how crazy he is, and then, like, we flash back to him, and he's super calm and collected and cool and confident and, like, "I'm gonna bust these people, and I'm this big wig and, insurance investigator, and nobody can fool me," and then, like, the whole time you're like, "We know where this is headed."
I do
So
like that they don't when he starts telling the doctor, you don't see that until the very end of the movie, right? It kind of bookends the movie. It
Right.
doesn't like have shots where it comes back to that, and then the guy's like, "Well, what about this?" And then it has to go back
yeah,
to the
there's no,
flashbacks.
like, interludes.
Yeah,
No interludes, it's just one straight story. Yeah,
yeah, like
consecutive. He
especially
did
because the
it
movie's only like a quick hour and a half. So I mean,
yeah.
we got what, 10 minutes in the beginning and then another 10 at the end. So I mean, do the
I'm
math.
pretty sure, Carpenter was brought in on this. I think originally they had other people in mind, and they either didn't want it or they just didn't accept it or backed out or whatever the case may be, but then John took it over and was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And it's written by a guy named, Michael DeLuca, which I'm not familiar with his work, but
He's a big producer.
Yeah.
he I think he also worked on something else. I wanna say, like, maybe Judge Dredd, the original Judge Dredd?
Yes.
He's
Yes.
worked on
It
a lot
did.
of stuff. I think one of the Nightmare on Elm Streets. I think he was, like, a big producer. Was this New Line?
This was New Line, yeah.
The way I heard it, I think the story goes that he wrote this when he was, like, real young, and he wanted Carpenter to direct it, and Carpenter looked at it and said, "Yeah, it's kinda interesting, but, I'm gonna pass on it for now." And then I think they kinda shopped it around, and there was other people that may or may not do it, but he really wanted Carpenter to do it. I think he, like, became one of the, like, higher ups at New Line, and then I think it was, like, a few years, like, 5 years after he turned it down the original time, and then he's like, "Okay, maybe I'll take a shot at it now," and then ended up making the movie. Almost like a guy green lights his own script to be made kinda thing. So he becomes like a
Yeah.
big producer, and then he's like,
Interesting.
"Hey, we should make this movie
Oh, this
that I
movie
wrote."
I once did yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Right. I think he only wrote like what, like 8 things or something like that, and then he's produced just like a shitload of stuff.
Must be better in that producer seat than that writer's seat.
Well, I heard he got into some controversy at some point, and, we don't have to get super into that. I don't know the specifics on it, but, he
Oh, I
ended up
know
Sure.
losing this position and then ended up as a producer for some other places, and then ended up producing, like, Moneyball and,
yeah, I
like,
heard he
this dude's had a really, like, big successful career.
yeah. I don't wanna say he got pigeonholed into doing other projects or other like, leaving, hopping around, and doing what he's doing, kinda like how you mentioned, but for what I kinda read too, it sounded something similar, like he kinda, like, bounced around, whether his choice or not, kinda got stuck in some spots, got out, but dude's working, so that's something, I guess.
I wanna talk about some of this plot real fast here.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna get right to the meat of it here. At the very end, it like kinda comes to like a point where they're like, your story is already like written. This has all been written out. Everything you're doing is like already been written or like whatever. So how does that how does the beginning happen if all this is like written out? Am I making sense? You know what I mean? Like,
So, it's kind of explained that when he's first started writing, the words were just coming to him, and he kinda makes mention how he thought it was himself at first, and later on we find out it's not them, it's from the old ones, right? And they kinda have this underlying of like, hey, they wanna cross over, they wanna take over kinda thing, and this is like their means of doing so. This is like their ritual to be able to make it happen. So they're juicing this dude with enough power to write these books and to break reality with said books and to get like a following. And so each story has its own, is like, just, I don't know if it's like constructed or if it's just made. Cause like John Trent, I'm trying to figure out if that dude was like born because he wrote him Born, or if he just
Right.
poofed into
Yeah.
existence. And so I almost think the easiest way to say is just like, because he's written as a character, he just instantly appears, just like how you would read in a book. It may talk about how he was born later, but unless the book tells you, the characters you get are just, they exist, right? They start from a certain point. So I feel like
Okay.
that's what happened with John in real life. That's why, not to say like he doesn't say anything about his memories. He's like, I remember being born, I remember being a child. Doesn't say nothing about that. He talks
That's
strictly
true.
about how, like, he knows he's an investigator. He's the best investigator. All this kind of stuff. Like, he has some kind of past and he has some kind of memory of his past, but it only goes back so far because he's written that way.
Plus, you would only have the memory of what the author's written on a page. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, and he's still, I don't know, because the time thing kind of gets weird because when he's in Hobbs End, like, Sutter's still typing the damn thing.
Yeah. Right.
So it's almost like as Trent's going throughout reality or his reality or whatever, it's being played along as like it's being typed out or it's being written.
Mm-hmm.
But then by the time he gets the thing, he burns it when he gets back to the hotel. It shows up again the next day. He somehow still delivers it after trying not to deliver it. He's like, he goes to Charles Heston. He's like, you can't do it, man. You can't go through with it. You can't print these books. And he's like, the book's already been printed. And he's like, the movie comes out next week. So like everything goes hella fast. But again, it's because it's written that way.
There's a little bit of an element of like time manipulation to where like, so is he like going back and deleting passages from before and then writing new ones, or just like, are there multiple time streams, or
it's almost paradoxical. Like,
Yeah, kind of.
is there
this leads to that, but that has to lead back to this. And you know what I mean? Like, because, yeah. So is it John Trent or whatever? Sam Neill,
Yeah.
his character. Is his character only in the book In the Mouth of Madness? Was he not in the other Sutter Kane novels? Because surely he would have been like, hey, I'm reading about this other motherfucker named John Trent.
Yeah.
Wow. And you know what? All of his shit that he's doing is what happened to me in my life. That's so crazy. So the events of the movie that we're seeing, this shit going down on Hobbs End, right? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is the plot of In the Mouth of Madness, essentially.
Yes.
So then, and I hate to jump right to the end here, but I'm gonna because we're already talking about it here. When Sam Neill is in the movie theater
Right.
watching the movie with him in it, I mean, like I said, it has to be kind of some kind of weird paradox
Yeah.
thing.
Well,
So where would that movie end for him? Because his
Is-
life is still going on. He went to the insane asylum. Where would that movie end? Right?
Right. At the end of that
Right.
movie that he's watching, is it him eating popcorn, laughing like a crazy person?
Exactly. Right. Or does it just like cut off when he like leaves, finds the kid at the crossroads on his bike, and he's like, which way to the highway? And then it's like movie credits, he got away.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I definitely feel like it's like when he's in the theater, he's watching it and he starts hysterically laughing. Like even at the last little bit, you can see he's obviously hysterical, but at the last little bit before the credits roll, he's like he's getting to the point where he's starting to sob because he knows that his life is not real, it's fiction, it was written, and that pretty much everything Sutter Kane was talking about has happened and is happening. Like he's like, you're just a character because I wrote you to be that way. Like you're going to see how this ends. And so when he finally does, that's when he realizes that it's all true, that he's not real. He's not, he's in a reality, but he himself is not real.
Is that how you took it? So you're saying his reality isn't real. You're saying, I took it as like his reality is real, but it's being concocted by Sutter Kane. Are you thinking that this is like a universe within the actual real universe?
No, I think he is for real. Like going through the motions. Like he first he was in complete denial, and then at the end he's accepting it for real. Like even though he may not like he's a real flesh and blood character only because Sutter Kane wrote him to be a flesh and blood character. If you would have wrote him off to be a fucking goblin or something, John Trent would be a goblin walking around. Like
right, but in the real world, right?
But it would be in the real world. It would be brought to life. It would be real.
It was like a stranger than fiction situation.
Kind of, yeah. So his reality
Yeah.
is basically being warped and changed because of Sutter Kane. Like Sutter Kane pretty much warped him into reality, essentially.
Well, that's kind of an interesting thought of the like he's living like a normal chill thing, and then Sutter Kane, as he's writing, is like rewriting reality in present time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Because, and you don't even know if they have full cognate like control of of their actions, because there's a part where he's making like Sam Neill's in his hotel room, and he's bickering with his I don't know what she is,
travel
associate.
Buddy.
Yeah, travel buddy, whatever the hell she is. She's like a
Styles?
tag along from Styles. He's sitting there like kind of talking with her, and she's like, I'm losing me, and then she she gets like very like horned up and like sexually charged, and she starts like kissing him and stuff, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? And she's like, he's writing me this way.
She said, Kane is writing me. He wants me to kiss you. It's good for the book. That's what they're driving. That's making me laugh. So yeah, he actually, it seems like he is doing it in real time. Like,
yeah. So
he can make changes in real time. It seems like he's almost outside of time.
I think Hobbs End. So when they're driving and they finally get to Hobbs End and they see Sutter Kane and the Black Church and all that stuff, I think Hobbs End, that whole section, is in a pocket dimension. It's like a thinny or something from Stephen King. Like they jump over into it to get to Sutter Kane, because that's where he is. And so this is when he starts like, look, this is my plan. This is what it's going to be. There's nothing you can do is stop it. Hope, just brace yourselves for it. John, get in there and go see your movie, And then he kind of puts the manuscript in his hands and pushes him along. He's like, now go deliver it. And he's just like, I won't deliver it for you. He's like, yes, you will. He's like, I wrote you to do that. And then we find out that he does end up doing it. So I feel like he's just not in control of his own self. But I don't know. I feel like Sam Neill, John Trent, is actually like, he's a real flesh and blood person, but he was created by Sutter Kane. He wasn't born into our world. He just was poof.
Pocket dimension is a good way to put it, because you never see them drive in or out.
No, they float.
Like when they come in, she goes over that, like she's driving and then she looks down and it's like the space looking
storm cloud thing, lightning and stuff. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's daytime and she's there. And then when he's leaving, it's kind of the same thing. He's driving, it's nighttime, and then all of a sudden, poof. Or I can't remember if he was driving or not, but when he leaves, he just kind of poofs into like daylight in the middle of the crossroads.
Yeah. He's running away from the creatures after they like come up. Up from the abyss or whatever.
Dude, the creatures were super awesome, man. John Carpenter nailed it on that again. You could definitely tell a lot of like the Thing maybe like prepped him for this almost. You know what I mean? Like, think of like all the tentacles and like the whippy, like like under the doors, the creature faces and like teeth and stuff. Yeah, this is a Thing written all over it, and it was awesome. Honestly, I could have used a little bit more of it.
I wish there was more creatures for sure.
I heard something like he was a little bit disappointed that he was stuck still using like practical stuff. Like I heard there was some quote about him like, yeah, I'm back to using rubber again or something, instead of like having the budget to do more like
CGI and stuff.
Which I'm glad he is, because it's way cooler this way.
Yeah,
I agree.
Well, it was right after the success and the hotness of Jurassic Park, so I'm sure he was like, I can make fucking CG, Lovecraftian creatures would be great. Well, I know that the Mrs. Pickman, the one who owns the hotel, she was actually a miniature that was filmed when she goes full like monster, because I guess they had a dude in a suit and John was like, nah, it's not convincing. So they made like a little miniature and used it instead. The creatures and stuff you see at the end, I heard it took like 30 people to like get everything like moving, like to run the hydraulics and the cable work and all that stuff to make like the wall of creatures like come alive when they start, kind of chasing after Sam Neill there.
Yeah, that's some crazy effect. It's like one giant monster piece on wheels that like They had to like
Yeah.
push from behind to simulate the chasing and stuff, and then like the moving parts. Yeah, that's crazy because you can't tell that. You know what I mean? Like that's not like none of the effects in this looked bad. I
Mm.
think
Right.
Yeah.
there is a really quick shot of the miniature hotel clerk that you could, if you pause it, maybe you could be like, okay, that's rough.
Yeah, it's a little
But
goofy, but
nothing to me stood out as like bad. I was like, this is, and that helped the movie because like we were talking about Leprechaun with bad effects and like whatnot or whatever. But this did not have that.
yeah. Well, the part where like I think Styles is in the bathroom, or she's behind a door or something like that. And Sam Neill was like, he's trying to find her, trying to get to her, or something like that. And you hear like a low growl start coming from the other side of the door, and you just see her silhouette, but then you see the tentacles underneath the fucking
A
door.
little
And
tentacle whipping around.
yeah, and then they kind of like suck underneath, and then she just opens the door and she's just like smiling and shit. Nah, dude, I'm out. Fuck that. Like
Yeah.
that's a terrible hotel experience.
Why was he still trying to get her to leave with him after you saw that? I
I
instantly would have been like, bitch, you're gone. Like,
made
I'm fucking
his
taking the keys at the car and I'm out of here. I'll tell Jack Harglow, you, I don't know what happened, but I'm
Yeah.
out. You're not coming with me.
yeah. She I think it was just like she kind of appealed to his humanity, I guess, instead of him being like, "Oh, fuck you, you're all in on it, I'm out of here." Like he was like, once like shit started popping off, he's like, "We got to get the fuck out of here." Like, come on, Styles, and she's like, "No, he's riding me this way." And then she fucking eats the keys, eats a set of
Yeah.
keys,
Yeah.
which I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, but
He was
I
like, Jesus.
trying to get in there to like elbow deep to reach
Yeah.
it out. I guess those keys are actually made out of pasta, so I was like, "Oh, okay, so she could eat it." But I was
That's
like,
funny.
dude, yeah, I didn't know you could shape key pasta before, but that's dope.
That
But
part was making me
Yeah.
think of you, Chris, because of Ozzy eating the coin in Leprechaun.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
dude, yeah, if
At least
anybody's gonna
she
choke
was,
on anything, it's gonna be her and those keys, dude. Like, oh my
at least
god.
she was trying to eat it. Ozzy was literally like, I'm supposed to just bite this coin. And then like,
Nope.
oh, I swallowed it. And I'm
He's
like,
like,
what
just
the?
boom,
I thought even
stick it
fucking
right
happened.
in.
Would you inhale it?
Yeah, you mentioned he's talking about everybody in the town being in on it. It seemed like even after they were all trying to kill him, he still was like unwilling to believe that this shit was going down.
Yeah, it isn't until he like is like I think he gets out of Hobbs and that he's really shook. Like he's finally like, oh fuck. Like,
I think he loses the idea that they're actors and shit after that dude kills himself. He stumbles into the bar and he's saying dialogue like what you were just talking about, Tyler. Like, I don't know how you guys are doing this, but it's, super convincing and like whatever. So like he still thinks this is part of the con. And then that dude is like, look at me. My 5-year-old did this. Oh my God. And he's like, I'm written this way, like blows his head off or whatever. And then that is when I think Sam Neill is maybe finally like, okay, this ain't part of the hoax. Like this ain't,
yeah.
you know, tomfoolery right now. This is real. This is reality.
Dude, okay. So kind of jumping back to Vigo and like he's talking about his kid and all that stuff, and like his kid gets snatched up. So you find out that like in the lore of Hobbs End, like Sutter Kane kind of like opened up the church that was closed long ago because of reasons, demons and such or whatever. And so he says that when Sutter Kane opens it up, all this stuff started pouring out, started influencing, and he said that the kids went first. Dude, those fucking kids are creepy as shit. Like when you first see them
Yeah.
running, they're like normal. They're a little mongoloided, a little bit of like some makeup. But dude, when you see him like at the end where like Styles goes to like confront Sutter Kane, she's like who are you? She's like, you're my mommy or whatever. She's like, you know what today is? Mommy's
Mommy's
day. Like
day.
that's
Yeah.
fucking creepy. Like got like a weird set of chompers, some fucking monster eyes, like.
They almost look like they got like a super bad form of leprosy or something. You know what I mean?
Kind
Like
of, yeah. It's like
if
they're
it,
mutating
yeah.
into the
Ooh.
monsters. Yeah. But did you notice? So the first time around when they first get to town, the kids are chasing a dog around.
Right.
Mhm.
And then at night, when you see it like next, they see the
Got
dog
3
and the
legs.
dog's only got 3 legs. So you find out that like the dog, like they chopped off the dog's like leg.
I was gonna ask this because I think on the first time I didn't notice it, and then so I read the trivia after the first one, and then I was like, oh, that's weird. And then second time I noticed it. So then I was gonna ask you guys on the show, like, are we to assume that they did that, like they cut it off or ate it off, or ripped it off or
Oh,
something. Somehow
something.
they are the cause of that. Is that what we're
I
saying?
think so. Yeah,
I
it's
don't
not
think
like
I noticed it when I was watching, but I
it's not
would
like the
assume
dog's
that they wouldn't
running.
just put it in there for no reason.
Sure,
So
Right, yeah.
sure, yeah,
Yeah, because when you first see the dog is running from them. It's not running with them, it's running from them. And Styles is
right.
like, "Oh, the fucking kids." And then later on, it's like they're, like, right outside the church, and they're, like, fucking staring her down, throwing, like, beach balls and stuff at her. And that's when, like, the dog is, like, laying down, the dog gets up, and, like, hops off, and, like, yeah, it's to assume that the kids are becoming more monstrous, and they attack that dog and, like, ate its leg or whatever the hell, cut it off. So it's like, if the kids are fucking doing that, what are the adults gonna do? And you don't really see much of the adults until the end where he kinda gets caught in that loop and he can't get out, and then he wrecks the car.
so
The
that's the stuff that's happening to all these kids and these people in this town. Is that what we're to assume is happening to everyone in the world once the book gets published? Like that's the
Yeah,
infection or whatever that's spreading?
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I guess it just happens
The
to the kids in the books plot wise due to the things coming out of the church or whatever. And I got a question about that in a second. But then also new readers. Well, is it so? Is it new readers or like Sutter Kane fanatic? Lifelong fanatics that this starts happening to? Because at one point they say he gets his power, or they get their powers. The old ones do from the new readers, right?
Yes.
But what about all the old, the people that are
Well,
lifelong fans and have like gone through the catalog? How does that?
I don't think his lifeline is, like, super long. It isn't like he's had, like, a career that spans, like, 30 decades. It's probably
You think he's
within,
pumped these
like
out pretty fast?
I think he's pumped them out because I think immediately
Mhm.
Really
after
is Stephen King.
Yeah.
yeah, I think he starts pumping them out really quick. And he kinda has to because the old ones are kind of making him do it because
Sure.
he chose to, whatever the case is. So, the book thing you were kinda mentioning, I always took, like so everything that's happening with Sam Neill and Styles and stuff in Hobbs End, that's from the book. That's what's inside the mouth of man in this book. Everything that happens to everybody outside in the real world, the same thing is happening to them, it's just the books that are influencing him or them,
Okay.
not
So the
like,
things that are happening in
evil
the
from the
town
church.
are those the things from all the books that he's written? Is it like a
No.
so is this like Castle Rock where it's like
Hobbs End is supposed to be like Castle Rock.
right, so
Yeah.
like within Castle Rock you have like Needful Things, Cujo, Dead Zone, all those things happen in there. So are
Missouri, I
we to
think.
assume that all the things that Sutter Kane has written is happening in Hobbs End? And then, like you said, the effects from reading the books outside of Hobbs End is what turns them into like the infected or whatever that ravages the world. They also talked
Yeah.
about he has the quote about in 10 years or whatever, the human beings will just be a bedtime story that they read to the kids. Whose kids? The old ones' kids? The infected's
The old
kids?
ones'
Like
kids.
who?
Yeah.
So the old one's whole plan is to get from their realm or whatever into ours, and then they're gonna take over everything, and we all kill each other off, and
Well,
then they inherit the
Yeah.
land. I
okay.
was a little
So,
confused on like the end goal of the old ones, or
man, I've got a question from like 3 conversations back, but I'm racking them up now. So, Tyler, like what you're saying, the old ones are coming into our reality, our Earth, whatever,
They're
right?
coming to our world,
But
yeah.
we're also turning into monsters. Are we
yeah.
gonna? Do we not?
Yes.
Do we coexist with the old ones? But we're turning into monsters and killing each other. Is that or like you're infected, and as you're turning, you start killing people. Like people with the axe and like whatever, and then you become a monster, and then you're just like part of the natural race now. I would, you get what
Are
I'm
we
saying?
turning into the old ones? Like, if we keep morphing down this path, do we become tentacled and like?
Right.
Is this a Slither situation, or is this like?
How let me ask you guys this.
Do we all combine into one ginormous blob and just?
So let me ask you guys this. How much Lovecraft have either of you two read?
Not very much.
Okay.
I've read Herbert West Reanimator. I tried to do Cult of Cthulhu. Is that what it?
Call of
Is
Cthulhu, yeah.
Call or Cult?
It's Call.
Anyway, I tried to do part of Cthulhu, and I couldn't focus enough on it while I was at work. I was trying to do the audiobook, All
his
this to say,
writing is
not very much.
it's like an old style, man. It's kind of hard to fall into sometimes.
Yeah, I had the same issue trying to do like Frankenstein and Dracula and stuff. I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
do those older writings while I'm also doing something else.
So I'm a huge Lovecraft fan. I have gone through a lot of his works, a lot of my favorites, and all the stuff that happens in those stories pretty much happens in this movie.
Yeah,
Like the way we're talking about the old ones crossing over and mutating certain people, and they're kind of becoming part of the old ones, and then they're also attacking the rest of humanity, and it's like all very apocalyptic. That's straight Lovecraft. That's all
yeah.
Lovecraft has, and like most of his stories. I know Carpenter's a big Lovecraft fan, and I know that he kind of based his Apocalypse trilogy, which this is the end of, kind of based on cosmic horror that Lovecraft would write. I don't want to say it's kind of hard to follow if you're not a Lovecraft fan, because that makes it sound like you have to be a Lovecraft fan to actually enjoy or watch this, because that's not the case, especially for either of you two. But I definitely like, to me, like watching it, I was like, this is all par for the course. This is all Lovecraft. I love this. Like, it all made sense to me. But I could see where it could be confusing as shit, because I still have some questions. I still have
Yeah.
like I'm still scratching my head at some parts. But everything that happens in this movie pretty much happens Lovecraft, and like Lovecraft style. Whether it's story beats, locations, people, creatures, whatever. Like it all flows just like that.
This movie is like the perfect combination of Stephen King and like Lovecraft stuff. Like
Yeah.
Lovecraft story presented in a Stephen King manner, right? And like I think so like Derek, us three with Yuso, right, kind of definitely in like one of those like Venn diagrams or whatever, right? Derek, you're firmly in the middle, right? Like you got both sides going for you. Tyler and I are probably more Stephen King than Lovecraft, right? So
Right.
I think this movie only made like less than 9 million at the box office, and that all came
It
from people that fit in the same middle that you're in, right? But
yeah.
majority of the
All
people are
broke.
one or the other, and I think like this. If you don't, I don't know, man. Like th- this just hit all the marks for me, and I really struggle with why people didn't go for it.
I
Should
wish I
definitely
knew more Lovecraft. Like I love cosmic horror stuff. That's why
Same.
I want to get more into Lovecraft stuff. Like my favorite book series, John Dies at the End, is very cosmic or horror esque. There's lots of stuff from John Dies at the End that I found similar to this movie, like the time changes and stuff. There's these things in John Dies at the End that kind of live outside of time, and basically they could just come in and like pluck you out of the timeline. And it's not like they pluck you out of the timeline and everyone's like, well, where'd Chris go? It's like literally you go to Chris's parents and you go, hey, where's your son Chris? And they go, we never had a son named Chris. And that's like a big running theme through the John Dies at the End stories. And then there's also this creature in John Dies at the End, Korok, who is like this like huge blob of like organic material that like absorbs people and absorbs their knowledge and experience, and he's just a collection of all these, kind of like Slither, where he just takes all these people in and just they become part of him and his
Right.
consciousness, and he exists through all these dimensions. A lot of that stuff is very prevalent in here.
At the Mountains of Madness is a personal favorite of mine. I love that. It's awesome. Takes place like past the like Arctic wall in Antarctica and stuff. It's really cool. There's that.
That's not a
There's
movie though, is it?
He's talking
no,
about the
no.
Is
story.
The story
oh
is at
okay.
the Mountains of Madness, but what's his face? Del
Del
Toro's been
Toro
trying to
wanted
make
to
it
do.
forever. Yeah,
Hmm.
but he can't get no funding for it, which I would kill to see that. That'd be awesome. Like,
Yeah, that sounds
forget
cool.
Frankenstein. Give me those mountains, bro.
Yeah.
Um, there's that one. There's a thing on my doorstep. The Shadow over Innsmouth has like people turned into creatures and stuff. Like, so those are some pretty good ones. If you guys want to check any of those out, like they're pretty short, but they're kind of creepy, man.
I want to talk about something real fast. That painting in that hotel lobby, like,
Super
Creepy.
creepy.
dude, that is
Yeah.
super creepy. Like, now, like moving pictures can be a little hokey at times, right? But like when it's done right, like if I'm that chick, and I'm watching and I see that, like, and it was just a simple head turn. It wasn't even anything crazy. Like I've been like, oh fuck, dude, nope, I'm out of this hotel.
Yeah.
There's got to be another one in town. I'm not staying here. Like, there's
Well, even
absolutely no way.
even Styles sees it. She's like, "Oh fuck," and like backs up into Trent. But then when Trent checks it later, because he's like, you saw something in the painting. Yeah, you're just seeing shit. And then when he goes checks it out later, he like looks at it. It's all like deformed and stuff, and they're monsters.
Yeah.
And it kind of progressively just gets worse every time you see it. That shit always kind of weirds me out when I see that, like things progressively getting worse, like paintings or pictures getting worse as you like go on throughout the movie and you keep seeing it.
Right after that is when he comes down to the basement and sees the Mrs. Pickman.
Mr.
Is that,
Pickman,
that her
yeah.
name was? Pickman, right? Monstered out and like killing her husband or whatever. And I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, holy shit. And especially because of that actress playing her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she's like a sweet old lady and everything. So I was like, holy shit. And earlier you saw the husband was like chained to her ankle and like
I was gonna bring
doing
that up. I
Yeah.
was like, it freaked me out enough just to see him handcuffed to her ankle and her kind of like
Yeah.
kicking him.
I was like, holy shit, dude. Like, that was fucking crazy, man. I would have been out of that hotel. I don't know how the fuck he stayed there that long. No way. With
Well, like,
Styles acting weird, Mrs. Pickman being weird, the painting being weird, that loose floorboard, that would have irritated me. I've been out of it.
well, it's also strange too, because like as Styles is kind of talking, it's like when Styles gets there to the town, she's kind of, that's like her mind's already broke at that point. She's trying to put the pieces together because she's like, this can't be real. Like, because she's like, this place doesn't exist, but all this weird shit's happening. I've experienced it before because it's from the book. It's when they start talking about the book. Like there's that part where they're in the hotel room, they're kind of going back and forth, and she's like, he's like, yeah. He's like, but if you look out the window, look, where's the church? Church isn't there. And she's like, you didn't read close enough. She's like, it was
She's like,
out
good
the
one, dumbass.
got the west window or the east window or whatever. Yeah. And like opens it up. There's the fucking church. So it's like, oh shit. And then the same thing, like he mentions how Mrs. Pickman ends up chopping her husband up into fish sticks because that's what the book prior to in the Mouth of Madness that he was writing was the horror
Hobbs
at
End.
Hobbs End. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
in that story, that the hotel chick is chopping up her husband. So he already read about it and then he sees it.
I thought it was really interesting, like a really smart choice to have Sam Neill's character asleep when they enter the town. Because if he had been awake when they
Yeah.
went through that whole transition, he would have been a lot quicker to like believe what she was saying. So I thought it was really smart to keep him asleep. So he wakes up and he's like, "Oh shit, we're there. I didn't know. I
Yeah.
must have been sleepy."
She did a terrible way fucking selling it too. Like she's driving, she sees the like storm clouds underneath her. It's just like, fuck. And then she gets across the bridge and it's broad daylight and she like comes to a halt. She stops. She's like, what the hell just happened? And then that's when he wakes up. He's like, oh, Styles, you found it. Marvelous. Like we can
Good
keep
job.
going. And she's like, you can drive. That's all she says. You can drive. She doesn't stop and be like, no, motherfucker. Like there was no ground underneath us. How did we get here? Like none of that.
But how would you explain that?
Dude, yeah.
How
And
would you
again,
even
like you
start
said,
to explain that to someone?
he doesn't believe her from the get go either way. So
riding into town when she sees the young kid on the bike, right? And then she sees the young
the
kid
old
that's
man.
now like an old person on the bike. I definitely would have been like, oh wait, what the fuck? Hold on. Like I would have stopped the car or like woken who's ever ridden with me and being like, wait a minute here. There ain't nothing fucking out here. I just saw this kid and then I saw the same kid old. Are we to assume because he's like he won't let me leave? Has
Yeah.
that kid just been running this loop
Yeah.
into old age?
Endlessly.
Holy shit. That's fucking insane, dude.
And even when a car plows him, he just gets off the road like unscathed and he starts pedaling along.
I
Yeah,
love
just keep
that. But
going.
he's just like, see ya.
Yeah. He's like, oh, she's like, oh my God. Like I think Sam Neill gets woken up. I think he's asleep, gets woken
Yeah.
up. It's the dude. He just goes back to sleeping when they get back in the car. Isn't like, oh, that was weird. He's just like, oh, I'm going back to bed.
He is
style.
unflappable.
Dude, yeah, he has an answer for everything, or he's just unfazed by everything until like shit is literally going down in front of him, and even then he's still like, nope, I don't accept it. So he's a fighter till the end. I'll give him that, but bro should have rolled real quick.
Another thing I thought was pretty scary was that wet ass demon door.
Dude.
Like just how like
it starts
wet and
bleeding.
rotted the wood was, and
The
I thought
chains
that was a
on
really
and
cool
shit.
effect. Yeah.
I will say this: it's probably the worst effect in the whole movie when Sutter Kane kind of like starts tearing himself open. But everything leading up to that was pretty fucking creepy. Like,
I thought it was okay.
yeah, I mean,
Like when he was tearing himself open.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
really
it's
thought the
90s.
like book pages dimension whole thing was cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. Him kind of tearing himself in like because he had to tear through himself to unleash them basically. but like all the stuff in the church was pretty creepy. Like when she finds him like in the cellar and like, you know, hands are coming out and touching her, but there's no one there. Dogs are disappearing and stuff. Like it's just a bunch of weird stuff. And then like he's like, oh, well, he's like, you want to know the ending? Let me show you. And then push her face into the book, and it like just hits her with all the knowledge in that book. She comes out, her eyes are bleeding, she don't know what's going on. And then when Trent gets to him, he's just like, I need you to deliver this. Go ahead and do it. And then basically it's a monologue from an H.P. Lovecraft story, but when she's sitting there reading the pages about what Trent's thinking as the creatures are
yeah.
coming
He's
out of the abyss, I was
Yeah.
like, this is great. This is chilling. It is tense. You don't know what's coming out. You can't see it. You can hear them. The shit she's saying is spooky as fuck. Like,
while I would have liked to have seen the creatures more, I thought it was really effective to just have her reading the script with him, with like the shot of his face staring into
Yeah.
the abyss.
and it's just all he's like, Trent looks down and sees them and hears them coming up as the like blackness gets closer and all the wet and sloshing like tentacles or whatever are going around. It's like, that's creepy. That's fucking creepy.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
really neat touch.
I'm quick to like dunk on a movie if I feel they're like they didn't show enough of the creature to like satisfy me, you know? Like I think Derek
Yeah.
Event Horizon was kind of a cool movie, but you don't see anything. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, motherfucker. But this found like a good perfect like niche. And there's really not even a lot of creature shots shown. It's a lot of like mutant looking human, you know, like those kids and the
Real
person with
quick
like the
shots
weird
and
yeah. But yeah, I thought this was super awesome. The creature stuff it did show, I was like, yeah, that scared the shit out of me.
the subtle things
Huh?
like the double eyes, like the eyes
Yes.
doubling
Oh,
up.
yeah.
That was creepy. Just being like, he sees you, I see you, she
Yeah.
sees you. You know, like
Yeah.
it like just random people come up and saying that shit to you. I'd be like, okay, dude, cool, thanks. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I thought the shots when they were like trying to show him as crazy, where it would just like be like different flashes of like axes and then like this, and then you get like the fish guy face, and then you know, I
Yeah.
thought all that stuff was really cool and really effective. And I know like all the like fish and tentacle imagery, I know that's big, like Lovecraft stuff.
It's in the very beginning. He's like talking to the dude he just worked with on the warehouse fire or whatever, that other guy. And he's like sitting there
Robbie
talking
or
to
whatever.
him. Yeah. And he's like, hey man, like, would you like looking into this other case? He's like, yeah, sure. What's it about? And you see in the background, there's that dude that's just chilling on the other side of the street. And then he just comes slowly walking over with an axe. And you're watching it the entire time while these two are fucking talking. And then he
Mhm.
That was a
cracks
cool
through
setup.
yeah, and then he cracks through the windshield, just gets real close, and he's like, do you read Sutter Kane? You know, and it gets shot or whatever. But he ends up, it's like that creepiness. The dude's randomly talking to you. The nightmare he has with like the cop and stuff, like all that. I like right off the bat, like I would have been like reading these books. No, nope, not doing that either. Like, no, Robbie, you can have your case. I'm not doing it.
I was wondering what was up with the fucking like Voldemort head. You know what I'm talking about? Where he's got the face on the
Dude,
back
Yeah,
of his
yeah.
head. Like, what was that? Was that supposed to be? I don't even know.
I think
I
that
don't
was
even have
just
a theory
the,
on
the
that.
I
Was that
I
just
want
like
to say it's like his demonic form or like his monster form kind of coming out, because he slowly starts to morph into a monster too, essentially, I would
Okay.
assume, like the rest of the people.
you only see it once and then you never see it again.
Yeah, because you do
that's
see him
something
from
that
behind again later, and it's not there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and even like the chick, and I know she's probably little brain warped at this point. She's like arms around him, and like her hands are on it, like touching this thing's face and whatever. She doesn't freak out. She doesn't show any emotion about it. But it would have been cool if when he's talking to Sam Neill at some point, turns around maybe to like walk the door, and then you see that thing and have Sam Neill react to it. Because I know if I fucking saw that, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be shitting, dude. Like,
Well,
man.
that or when she spider crawls out from behind the car with her like head
Oh,
twisted,
yeah.
that was even
That was a
creepier.
good effect.
Like,
Yeah.
what in the fucking Exorcist is this? Not, I'm out.
Yeah, I would ditch her ass way before he did, dude. No point in being like, come with me. No, absolutely not.
Most definitely.
Also, what happens? So at the very end, when he's looping back into town and like stops at the mob, tries to go back, whatever. At that very last one, and you can kind of tell as it's happening for the third time, he's got that look on his face like, I'm going to fucking plow right through these kids. He starts to go through. He diverts because he sees Styles.
Styles.
What do you think? What do you think would have happened had he, whether Styles is there or not, had he kept going like and tried to go out the other side of town? You think he would just loop back around?
Yeah.
Because he's written that way.
Yeah. I think he would have looped back
He's
around and
riding
then
me.
eventually. Yeah. He's riding me this way.
He's riding me back into town.
He said
I
it's
would
good
have
for the
plowed right
boat.
through Styles out the other side.
I feel like
dude.
I
Or
feel like
would
the
have
loop
tried.
would have been endless. Yeah, he would have been stuck in it until like eventually either he came to the church or Sutter Kane's like, okay, fuck this, come to the church. You know, like
Yeah,
types
drag
it
you there
in.
myself.
You find out too while Trent is in the insane asylum when the dude comes to talk to him, you know, about his them. He's like, things are getting bad out there, aren't they? And he's kind of like, well, you know, we're kind of dealing with it. And he's just like, it's only going to get worse. And then you kind of find out that he wasn't lying because there's like that last little bit at the end where he's kind of like sitting there on a stormy night and then he hears people getting like attacked, killed or whatever. And then he kind of comes creeping out the next day. Everybody's gone.
Yeah.
It's like 28 days later or some shit. Like there's nobody around. Like the doors are open.
Dude, it was literally that fucking night. His first night in that insane asylum. The world goes to shit. Yeah, it was crazy, dude. Like that was a fast timeline. It was wild.
I was wondering about all like the crosses and stuff in the cell. Was he
Yeah.
doing that? Was he doing that as like
a protection thing?
Was he doing it as a protection thing, or was he doing it to seem crazy so they would keep him in the cell? I thought there was a line where
I didn't think about that.
I kind of feel like because he drew it all over himself, QED. I feel like because he did that, he was trying to protect himself because that's what the church was built for, was to keep all those monsters at bay with all its religious artifacts and by the Lord and all that stuff. So I think to him, any kind of cross religious kind of like artifact like that kind of offered some kind of protection to some degree, at least in his eyes, even though, I mean, he's the main star. He's not going to get messed up.
Wasn't there a line, the guy that came to like interview him, where he says, we'd almost have to keep you in here after you did something like this. So I thought that was almost a nod of like, are you doing this just so we don't let you out? Because he changes his mind and says he doesn't want to get out. So I kind of took it as like, I'm trying to look crazy.
Maybe he knows
how
shitty it is.
So you don't let me out.
Okay. All right.
There's a guy with swollen balls or swollen testicles that's pretty sure you wanted to get out or whatever.
Said otherwise, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good, Tyler. I didn't think about that. I kind of thought protection too, except aren't a bunch of the crosses upside down?
They're kind of just all over the place. Yeah.
And I get maybe he was just fucking scribbling, right? So he didn't matter where he crossed it, right? But in the Conjuring movies, don't they say like the upside down cross is actually like the devils or like
it's
demons?
Supposed to be
or
like
whatever.
That's a sign of like
evil influence,
satanic stuff. Yeah.
I was also wondering. I was like, okay, so maybe they're for protection, but then I was like, well, they're upside down. Maybe he's part of like the cult now. You know what I mean? Like maybe he's one of the old one worshipers, and he's whatever. Yeah, that's good. I mean, the protection thing might work because he's the only one in that whole fucking asylum that didn't get like ripped apart that night. So
he's kind of like a prophet too, though, right? Like he delivered the word.
I mean,
to
at
the
that
people.
point, yeah, he delivers the word of the New Age gods, essentially. Like he's going through the motions because he's written that way. He doesn't really stop himself. He tries to stop to destroy the manuscript, but somehow, like, he still ends up doing it. Like he still ends up giving it to him, even after
he already gave it to him weeks ago.
Yeah. So I don't, dude. First off, I've never seen Hollywood ever fast track a fucking movie that fast after the book.
I thought that too.
I was like, "There's no way this is accurate."
Okay, so we talked about on Jurassic Park how Michael Crichton had written the book and they had started production on the movie before the book even came out.
Also true. Yeah. I mean,
but I feel like the book was
he said
written
7 weeks
way prior.
The book's been out 7 weeks, which is less than 2 months. And then he says the movie comes out next month, which for the sake of conversation, we'll say 3 months it'll be after the book comes out. That's a fast turnaround, dude. Like,
I mean, there have been other movies that have been made with a hell of a lot less time within a year of its sequel or predecessor. So,
well, now you see like
uncommon, but
you'll see X celebrity died, and then like a couple weeks later, you'll see like a documentary about their whole life come out. But like, and even like Stephen King, I feel like as soon as Stephen King's like getting ready to be done writing a novel, like all the studios are like dibs. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for sure.
Even if they're not,
Okay.
I think they would I think they would option them even if they're not going to make the movie right away, just to have
Yeah.
the let's see if this is any good, and if it is, we'll make the movie kind of thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of Stephen King, Sutter Kane, Stephen King, is that supposed to be alliteration? Like, is that an intentional?
Yeah.
I think that's intentional.
Okay.
I've read that John Carpenter is obviously a fan of King, and I guess he's actually friends with him. I guess he's met him, mingled with him at some point in life. And
Well,
I imagine,
Christine,
yeah.
Christine.
yeah. So I think
True.
they know each other and they're pretty well. And he took stuff from a lot of people. He took Sutter Kane because it sounds similar and is very kind of like you said, Tyler, like goes with the line of like Stephen King. Like you hear that name Arthur, it has like right up there, even though he apparently dethrones King in that universe.
Yeah.
Something they
Yeah.
talk
That was
about.
funny.
But I think the word Sutter Kane or whatever is based off of Stephen King. Like there's a lot of stuff like Hobbs End is from an old movie. Pickman is from Lovecraft, from Pickman's Model, the short story. Like, so he took a lot of stuff and kind of mashed it all together. But Sutter Kane, man, it's kind of a unique name, but
It
it's
sounds like a
solid.
horror author's name.
Dude,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Like
Yeah.
Sutter Kane, like what the Sutter? Who the hell named you that? Like your parents? The old
Yeah, for
ones?
real.
Like who? Like
Your parents hated you if they named you
The old-
Sutter. So
the old ones named him Sutter Kane. That's
They're
funny.
like,
Yeah.
how about Sutter Kane? He's like, all right, cool. But now,
that's pretty good.
Well,
so I got a kind of a closing question for you guys. So you take Sutter Kane, and he's like, I wrote you this way. Everything that I write, you do. All this other crap, right? So does that mean that Sutter Kane himself is a character that the old ones created, or is he
Oh,
actually
man.
somebody who they just used as
bestowed
a
power
conduit?
onto.
Yeah.
Or did he already have some good books out and they're like, okay, people already like this guy. He would be a good one to funnel us into the real world.
Right. Okay.
Like,
I don't know.
Is Sutter Kane in his own books? Like, if the events of this movie are the events of In the Mouth of Madness, this, it gets meta with like the author and like in the plot of the book, the church opens up. Was it Sutter Kane in the novel that opened it up? Like he himself, like, because Stephen King wrote as himself in the Dark Tower series, which is like, okay, Stephen, whatever. Thinking a little highly of yourself to just put you inside your biggest fantasy epic, but okay. Did Sutter Kane do that as well? Because he's writing himself literally as the bad guy, and then that fucking happens. So I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
I would think so.
Yeah.
I would think in the Mouth of
he's-
Madness, I think he's a character in the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah, in the Mouth of Madness, because that's his magnum opus. He'll be gone after the fact either way.
He kind of
the
thinks of
world's gonna
himself as a
end
god
afterwards,
anyway.
so
Yeah, he already thinks of himself as a god because of like I think like even when he said like first when I wrote this I thought I was doing it and then I found out it was coming from other people and he's like now I'm like one of them. But I like kind of like what you were saying with John Trent after seeing that I was like oh so he kind of got this is real, this is his reality, but I felt like to me he was manifested, so that made me wonder like was Sutter the same thing? Because all it would take was the old ones to create somebody and they would have opened that door years ago, which makes me think Sutter's actually real.
I was gonna say, okay, so if he's real, at the end of the movie, post events, Sam Neill goes, he's talking with Charlton Heston, and he's like, telling him the events. He's like, wow, that sounds pretty wild. And he's like, I burned the manuscript. He's like, no, because you gave it to me 7 weeks ago. So at that point, has Sutter Kane been found because he was missing, or you know what I mean? Like they sent him away as a hoax. They couldn't find him, or whatever. He never showed up, right? So at that point, if they did acquire the manuscript, which he had with him when he disappeared, right? You know what I mean? So has he been found? Is he still missing? Is he pronounced dead? Like, you know what I mean? How does that work?
Well, he said Trent brought him the manuscript 7 weeks ago.
Right.
So I think everything happened. He went out to find Sutter Kane, found him, got the manuscript, brought it back. 7 weeks go by, and then he's back in this dude's office like, where's Styles?
Yeah. That was another
He's
thing
like,
too.
yeah, Styles.
He's like, he literally is like, how would I not remember her or whatever? Like,
Yeah.
So was she never real, or like that was another thing too that confused me.
Like I was talking about John dies at the end earlier. This is one of those things where they like plucked her out of existence, I think. I think she did exist, but then she got written out.
Oh, he says that too. Sam Neill's like, well,
Must
they
have been
wrote her
written.
out or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
and also if you look back when he first meets Charles Heston, he's talking to that guy. It kind of makes it sound like they want Sutter Kane to be, I guess, alive and well, but that's not the end game. The end game is to get the manuscript because they have a lock on it. They have a lock, I think,
Yeah.
on movie rights. If the manuscript doesn't show up, whether Kane's part of it or not, like they're fucking boned. So I think they had to have the manuscript. Sutter Kane being alive, not being alive, they didn't care. It could have been a win-win for them, but I feel like for them it was strictly business.
They had that line, either we want our property, talking about the manuscript, or we want what we're due
Yeah.
from the insurance settlement.
So it kind of made it sound like they didn't give a shit about Sutter Kane as a person. They just wanted his work, or they wanted to acquire his work, kind of thing.
Also, his agent only read a couple chapters of this book and like went full nuts, right? The publicist, Styles, or editor, Styles, the chick, she's read a few of these and she seems mostly fine until, she gets like her face planted on the desk and he's like, fucking read the whole book. And then she like, wow, and then goes nuts. So like, why does it affect different people at different, is it like the fragility of their minds kind of thing? Or like,
I
oh
think
no,
like
wait.
willpower or something.
The guy came at Sam Neill with an axe because he read that part of the book that Sam Neill was going to deliver the manuscript. Is that what I'm trying to understand as well?
There's a line in the movie where she says it has an effect on some of his less stable readers.
Right.
But there's also a line later where she says, like, yeah, you're right. This was kind of a hoax in the beginning, but this part is real. I don't think the readers were actually going crazy from the previous installments. I think the only one that's actually, I could be wrong, Derek, you can correct me. I think the only people that are going crazy are the ones that are reading the new shit.
You know how there's diehard Stephen King fans and then there's other like just normal fans. The diehards are like, they've read every page, they know every word, they know every inch of those books and those stories. I feel like the people who are slowly changing the real world or whatever, I feel like those people are like, they're subjugated because they're weak-willed kind of thing. Like, not really so much that like, because the book can kind of take you over, but it doesn't take you over because it doesn't take over Sam Neill. It gives him nightmares, but it makes the ex-agent like go full axe mode. Styles doesn't go crazy until like when they get to Hobbs in because she's being written that way. And then you have Charlton Heston who doesn't read that stuff at all, but he seems seemingly unaffected. I feel like if you read the book in your weak-willed, weak mind, you'll have a greater influences of the old ones kind of like taking shape of you, kind of like grabbing you, piloting you, doing whatever. He sees you, that shit. Now, if you have a little bit of a stronger mind, something like, Sam Neill and Styles, then I think you can kind of bounce back the influence. Because they even talk about how at the end of the movie, he's like, I'll burn all your books. I'll make sure your book never gets made. No one's ever going to read your book. And he's just like, there's a movie coming. So people watching the movie are going to go fucking mad, just like they do if they read the book. But because it's a movie, they'll probably go easier because it's visual, not so much like literal. Like they're not breaking it down in their mind. They're visually seeing it. So the book causing all the people to morph and start acting out, like, because they're like, oh, there's been a second riot at the bookstore because the fucking book hasn't showed up. Like, it's like Black Friday sales, but just for a book. Those guys are influenced by the book, by the creatures. Everybody else at the end of the world by the end of the movie, dunzos. That's all the old ones pushing through with the movie. Everybody's either been killed or they've been mutated more or less or transformed into like an eldritch creature by the movie, which was the end game the whole time.
Yeah, and to touch on another thing you said, I think, yes, the guy with the axe, I think, was trying to get Sam Neill so that he didn't deliver the manuscript.
Okay.
But that there itself is also a paradox.
Right. Well, and then like you said, Derek, I think a little bit of the like mass hysteria of like everyone's going crazy about these books is a little bit Black Friday, a little bit of like, I don't know if you've seen the stuff with like the Pokemon scalpers right now.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're like
yes,
waiting in long lines and then like fighting the boxes out of each other's hands. And so I think it's a little bit of both. And then the new book, once you read it, then you really do go crazy.
Then you have no chance. Yeah. That's like the book is like the linchpin that like sets everything off. Like
And
it
it's going to
breaks
be the
you, breaks
biggest
your
one yet.
mind.
Biggest one yet. Then you got the movie. It's going to get the most amount of people.
Did Sutter Kane at one point say his books have sold over 1 billion copies or 1 million?
Think
I thought he
he's
said billion, and I was like, "What the fuck?" But then he follows that line up with more more people read this than the Bible, which is
yeah.
like the Bible's like the best selling book in all history and like the most translated and like all these whatever. So I was like, well, maybe it is 1 billion, but that would literally mean what in 1994 there was
Oh,
5 billion people on the planet. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
I'm thinking 2026 numbers. You're right. There was less people.
so that's 1/5 of the population. Which I guess if this dude is as popular as he says, I don't know. Like I don't know.
That's a good point.
I couldn't turn subtitles on to like to find out really what he said or whatever.
Oh
But I was
yeah.
like, I could
Well,
have
I
sworn
mean,
I
both
got to
times I
figure
watched this.
subtitles out on the Plex.
not I don't quite know how to do the full math because we don't have the equation. But like, think about it like this: one person buys what 5 books, 5 6 books, and then you
Is
start
that
Like of
adding
his
that up.
whole collection, like
Yeah,
all each of his.
like instead
Okay,
of just buying
Oh,
one
oh,
one set of books, it's like his whole series is selling like 1 billion
so he's
copies. I
not
don't think it's
saying
just
like
one
Hobbs
book.
one
End
book did that.
horror. Right. He's not
Right?
saying
Yeah.
1 billion Hobbs End horror sold. He's saying 1 billion of his whole catalog sold.
I
But
think he's
still,
implying that his whole sources.
Well, no, that would make sense. And is he saying that many people bought that or that many books sold? Because I
I think
think
that
the
many
books
books
sales.
were
sold.
sold.
Well, then that number goes to like Barnes and Noble's going to buy 1 million, and Amazon's going to buy 1 million. Well, not at that time, but you get
But
what
a
I'm saying.
Yeah,
billion?
yeah.
That's a lot, man.
Well,
Like
I
for
think if it's over the whole collection, that is less crazy than. I think if you looked up Stephen King's numbers, which they never say exactly how many books Sutter Kane's
right.
written, but if you look up Stephen King's number, it's going to be 1 billion. I guarantee it.
Oh, for sure. But he's got a catalog of like
And
57 books or like whatever.
this guy's bigger than Stephen King. And did he say more people have read his work than have read the Bible, or more people believed in his work than the Bible?
More people
I think
believed in his book than believed in the Bible, I think is what he said.
yeah, I think
Because
that's
he
what he
talks
said.
about he's in some rant about what like religion actually is, you know what I mean? And like people are treating his book like it's a religion or some kind of weird
Real
quotey gaudy stuff.
less Stephen King, more L. Ron Hubbard.
Would you guys, obviously before we get to like the In the Mouth of Madness book, I don't know what his book order was. This sounds like a book, an author we would be reading. You know what I mean? Like we would
Yeah, for
probably
sure.
be one of those people that's like the fucking new Sutter Kane book. Yeah, man, I can't wait. I just read Hobbes horror, whatever the fuck, the other day,
Yeah,
and it was fantastic. We would definitely be part of this crowd, dude. Like we'd be fucked.
most
Yeah,
definitely.
for sure. All right, so we were talking earlier about how he's like watching the movie that is his life and what's going on right now, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Have either of you heard about the book House of Leaves?
You've
Yes. Me and
mentioned
you
it
have talked
before,
about this
yeah.
book, Tyler.
Okay. So skip ahead if you haven't read it and you're wanting to read it. This might be a little bit of a spoiler. Basically the plot of the book, it's like 3 stories. It's like 3 stories deep, right? It's about a guy reading about a guy's research about a documentary that's about this guy's house. And it's about this house that when the guy measures it, it's like longer inside than it is outside. Right. And there's this
Okay.
hallway, and he goes into the hallway, and it's kind of like Chris, we were talking about the trailer for that new Backrooms movie. So it's kind of like that where
Okay.
he goes into the room and it just goes forever. And you can just go forever, and then there's a staircase that just goes down for like hours and hours and hours and hours. At some point he has this book and he's reading, and the book is called House of Leaves. So it's literally the book that you're reading, he's reading in the book.
That's some meta shit right there, dude. Like
Yeah.
that's some
Yeah, for real.
So as soon as he's like showed up to the movie theater and he like sees himself up there, that's what I thought of immediately. I don't think these are the only 2 things that have ever done that, but I thought that was really cool.
no.
It's an interesting book. I'm glad that I read it. I'll never read it again, probably. No.
It seems like that's what most of the reviews on House of Leaves, I think on Goodreads, kind of chalked up to. Like, I'm glad I did this. This was tough, and I'll probably never do this again. So,
It's less like an enjoyable read and more like a homework assignment almost.
Derek, I think we're 5. This is the 5th Carpenter Hour episode, right? We got We got The Fog, The Thing, Big Trouble in Little China, They Live, and now In the Mouth of Madness. Where out of those 5 do you put this?
I honestly, I would put it, man, that's what sucks about it because I love this movie, but I love all of Carpenter's movies. So I'd probably go
Sure.
I can't remember my original list, but I'd probably go The Thing at the top, and then either They Live or Big Trouble in Little China next. So, 2 and 3 can probably Swiss swap. And then it's In the Mouth of Madness. Like, I love The Fog, but when it comes to like story and like plot and stuff, I think we've kind of like picked through some of the holes in The Fog. Like,
Sure.
the cosmic horrorness of In the Mouth of Madness is just right up my alley. I love Lovecraft. This was like a love letter to Lovecraft, so it had me hooked. It'd probably be number 4, but man, it's a strong 4. Like,
Sure. Tyler, what about you?
It's battling with The Thing for number 1, I think.
Well, out of the
okay.
5 we've done, you had only seen The Thing, right? The other 4 were all first watches for you? Am I
Yeah.
wrong on that?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely correct. I think
Okay.
for me the top 3 are all pretty close, and it's The Thing, In the Mouth of Madness, Big Trouble in Little China, even They Live. Those 4 right there are like some of my new favorite movies of all time.
For sure.
Like,
Awesome,
I'm
man.
gonna be revisiting all of them. And then The Fog, I really did love, but it's definitely the bottom of the 5 that we've done.
I think I'm gonna put this. I think The Thing still holds the top spot for me with Carpenter. I think I'm gonna put this at number 2, man. I really
Right.
like The Fog. I grew up watching it a million times, man. So I think I'm gonna put that at 3, and then Big Trouble and They Live could take 4 and 5, and they could probably flip flop. You know what I mean? Because they were both
Yeah.
super cool. But while they're the bottom's not bad. You know what I mean? Like they're just out of 5. Yeah, I think it's gonna be number 2 out of the 5 we've done.
It's so good. It's so much fun.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Blew my
That is
mind.
awesome. I'm
This is a good pick.
Enjoyment
like
factor was very high.
I I think you said it before on one of the previous episodes of the Carpenter Hour, but I'm pretty sure, Tyler, you've mentioned how like you enjoy doing this because it's like you've never seen it before, so it's like a new experience, and you're coming out like super positive and loving these things. That's what I want all our viewers to do too, and like listeners. I want them to go out and enjoy these movies. Just have the same shared love for it as we do,
Yeah.
because I'm happy you're digging these, man. If you weren't liking these, I'd be like, man, I feel so bad for Tyler having to deal with all these, but I'm glad you're digging them, man. I really am.
I can't believe I hadn't caught on to these sooner, honestly. They're such interesting movies. Like, so many movies that come out now are just kind of the same thing recycled over and over again. And with Carpenter,
Yep.
it seems like whether or not he had good success with it, he was always making things that he was passionate about, things that were interesting, trying new stuff. Like, obviously
Fresh,
the
yeah.
practical effects are super cool, and he's doing his own music, he's writing most of his stuff, he's directing. It's really a labor of love with him. And whether or not, I know we're gonna probably get into some that aren't as good, but I think even with the ones that aren't as good, I still think you're gonna feel the love, and I think that it's gonna be enjoyable even if it's not great. Maybe we'll go through all of them and I'll be like, everybody was wrong. Every single one of these is a hit. But I think I listened to a podcast a while back about, was it Ghosts of Mars?
Yeah.
The way they talked about it, I don't know how it could be any good, but maybe I'll love it. I don't know.
Well, you guys want to wrap this up and give us your ratings? Chris, you want to go first?
So when I got off the movie last night, I believe on Letterboxd I gave it a 4 uh, out of 5. And Tyler, I saw you had it at 4.5, which was my first. Usually when you dig something, I'm like, okay, I'm probably gonna like this. So when you put it at 4.5, I was like, oh shit. I was like, now I'm really excited to watch this.
Nice.
And talking about it and like just like I said, this is maybe the only movie that I watched twice to prepare for an episode. I think I'm gonna bump it up to 4.5 as well, man. This is fucking awesome, dude. This was super cool. The horror stuff was there. I was at points literally like unsettled and like, oh man, like what's gonna happen? I can't believe I hadn't watched this. The cast was cool, the story was cool, super, super creative. Sam Neill was awesome. Yeah, 4.5.
You spoiled mine. 4.5, 100%. Like, I could be talked into a 5. I really love this movie a lot. Like you said, the story's cool, the cast is cool, the practical effects are awesome. Lovecraft stuff is awesome. Cosmic horror, right up my alley. everything about it was just good, man. 4.5.
Dope. Nice, man. I'm glad you both really enjoyed it. And I'm actually really surprised you both hold it so high on your ratings and on your rankings of like other Carpenter. That's awesome. That's great. I'm glad this one was a smash hit. Glad everybody liked it. Me myself, I'm gonna give it a 4. I I definitely have gone just a little below you guys, but man, like there's still more to kind of come our way, and I'm trying to play it kind of an even keel. But I think on Letterboxd I did give it 4 stars. But I think all the way around, man, like we're all on the same page. We all loved it. We all digged it. So that's great. I think that's awesome.
Do you think
Cool.
Kurt Russell could have done John Trent?
Ooh, I don't think so. I don't think it would
That
have
should
been
almost
good
be a question in every single one of these episodes. Could Kurt Russell have been the main character?
Yeah. Could Kurt be the Kurt for this movie?
Will it Kurt?
Will it Kurt? Yeah. I think it would be kind of a bad thing for him, man, but I'd still watch it. I'd still want to
Yeah.
see, you know.
I think Sam Neill was the right choice.
Yeah.
If anything, this
Well-
movie made me very interested to check out Sam Neill's other stuff. I
Yeah.
wasn't that aware of his work before. Like I always knew him as the Jurassic Park guy, so he always seemed like kind of a straight down the middle, like straight man. And watching
go.
this, it was like, oh, you're kind of weird, aren't you?
Check out Event Horizon. I think you'll like it. He's in there.
That's definitely my next stop on my Sam Neill journey.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
dude. I think you'll dig it. Alrighty. Well, if you guys are enjoying the good old Carpenter Hour like we are, as we are doing this lovely 2-step journey through all of his awesome catalog, don't feel pressure to check it out. But I believe I watched this because I have a physical copy of it, but I believe it's on Tubi. How did you guys watch this?
Tyler's Plex server.
Yeah, I bought the Blu-ray and then
All right.
ripped it and uploaded it.
If you're any kind of Sutter Kane fan, you'll go out and buy it immediately because he sends you. What I personally think you should take away from this is if you like what we're doing, like I said, just kind of like, subscribe. We're on all the platforms we talked of, and we'll definitely see you on the next Carpenter Hour.